Okay, today we're going to learn a science chant on matter. It's a little bit longer, but it's a really, really good chant. Okay, so we're going to break it down into sections. So we're going to start, it has a lot of wordplay in it, so words that mean two different things. Like somebody may come up and ask you, what's the matter? Are you okay? How are you feeling? That's one meaning of matter. But in science, when we talk about matter, we're talking about anything that has mass and takes up space. So you have matter, your necklace has matter, your pen or pencil has matter, the desk, anything around you, even the air has matter because it has mass and takes up space. And then we're going to break it down into the different properties of matter, and there are several that we need to know about. So each slide is going to hit on a different one. The first one is mass. Mass is how much matter is in something. I have more matter than a puppy dog, okay, because I'm bigger than the puppy, so there's more of me, okay? So we're talking mass, how much matter is in something. Volume is how much space something takes up. Okay, so we'll be looking at different volumes and that space, how much space you consume. So here's how this one starts. Matter, 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 what's the matter with you? Mass, mass, mass is how much matters in you. Volume, volume, volume is the space you consume, like how much space you need if you're in a box, okay? The next one is the physical states. There are three, solid, liquid, and gas. And you can change from one state to another by adding heat or by taking away heat. So like an ice cube, if you add heat, will melt and become a liquid. So from solid to liquid. And the water vapor in the air is a gas, but when it cools or loses heat, it becomes a cloud through condensation. Okay, it turns into a liquid. So it can go either direction. But this one we're going to go like this. Physical, physical, physical state. Add, like you're adding, or subtract heat to move its place. And then we're going to act out the three. Solid, solid, solid doesn't change its shape. Liquid, liquid, liquid takes the shape of a glass. Gas, gas, gas moves freely about. Okay? The next one is magnetism. Now, if you have two magnets, if they're opposite poles, like you have a positive and a negative, then they're going to attract. But if you have two that are the same, it's going to repel or push away. So for this one, we're going to go magnetic, 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 sticks to iron or steel. Opposites attract, but let's keep it real. If the poles are alike, they repel out of sight. Right? The next one we've already been working on when we studied electricity, but let's do this again. We're going to be the switch for a circuit. So conduct, 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 electricity and heat flows on through those metal things. Insulate, 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 stops the flow in its place. Wood, plastic, rubber makes its day in its space. So the conductors, like wire, lets electricity go through. It lets heat go through. That's why you don't want to touch a pan on the stove because it's made of metal and it lets the heat go through. But you might put an insulator on or an oven mitt and then touch it and move it because that insulator stops that heat or electricity from going through. All right? And the next one is solubility. Solubility is whether something will dissolve. Now, if you put sugar and water, it's going to dissolve till it looks like there's nothing there. If you taste it, you'll taste the sugar and the water. So it doesn't really disappear. So we're going to do like this when we say disappear because it's really still there. We just can't see it anymore, or it's evenly throughout. So for that one, you're going to go soluble, soluble, soluble. What does solubility mean? Does it dissolve? Does it disappear? And again, it's still there. So the next one is weight. Weight is different from mass. My mass is not going to change just because I scoot over a little bit, okay, or go somewhere different. So if I go to the moon, then mass, or how much of me there is, stays the same. But my weight will change because weight is based on gravity. So the moon is smaller, so it has less gravity than Earth, so I will weigh less, but there's still the same mass or same amount of me. If I go to Jupiter, I'm going to weigh more because Jupiter's bigger, so it has more gravity. So when we talk about weight, we're talking about measuring the force of gravity. So we're going to do like this. Weight, weight, weight keeps pulling me down. Measuring the force of gravity in newtons, ounces, or pounds. The last one is another word play, dense. Sometimes you think clearer than others. If you're having a foggy kind of day or you're not thinking as clearly, somebody may ask, how dense are you? Or are you not thinking what's going on? So that's one meaning of this. But in science, the meaning of density is whether something will sink or float in water. If I have a whole piece of bread and I throw it into the little pond, it's going to float there for a while. Maybe a duck is going to come eat it, but it'll float at first. But if I take that same piece of bread and wad it up into a ball and I throw it into the pond, it will instantly sink because we changed the density or how tightly it's packed together. When we look at density, we're looking to something sink or float when we put it in something else, compared to something else. For fifth grade science, we're going to compare it to water. When you get in high school, you may have density of other things. But at this level, does it sink or float in water is what we're going to really focus on. We'll check oil or syrup or a few other things. All right, so this is how it goes. Dense, dense, dense. How dense are you? Less density, punch.
More density sinks.
Less density, punch.
More density sinks.
Then we go back to the beginning. Matter, matter, matter. What's the matter with you? All right, so we're going to do this from the top and practice it all together. Here we go. Matter, matter, matter. What's the matter with you? Mass, mass, mass is how much matters in you. Volume, volume, volume is the space you consume. Physical, physical, physical state. Add or subtract heat to move its place. Solid, solid, solid doesn't change its shape. Liquid, liquid, liquid takes the shape of a glass. Gas, gas, gas moves freely about. Magnetic, netic, netic sticks to iron or steel. Opposites attract, but let's keep it real. If the poles are alike, they repel out of sight. Conduct, conduct, conduct electricity and heat. Flows on through those metal things. Insulate, 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 stops the flow in its place. Wood, plastic, rubber makes it stay in its space. Soluble, soluble, soluble. What does solubility mean? Does it dissolve? Does it disappear? Weight, weight, weight keeps pulling me down. Measuring the force of gravity in newtons, ounces, or pounds. Dense, dense, dense. How dense are you? Less density, punch.
More density sinks.
Less density, punch.
More density sinks.
Matter, matter, matter. What's the matter with you? Keep practicing.